Hey guys, I wanted to give you a little update on what I've been doing. Last time I uploaded a video, I was showing you how to turn a raw DNG file into Lightroom and color correct. What I've found since then is that even though the process gives me results that I was a little happy with, there are easier ways to get the colors right from the get-go, and I want to show you guys how to do that. I still recommend that you guys do the scans raw without any edits whatsoever into DNG files, just so that you can have a full quality DNG for archival purposes. Once you do that, now you can bring those DNGs back into VueScan and do the color correction there. The advantage of doing this is that you'll be able to do this with any scanner. Even if you don't have a scanner and you want to use your camera, you can do that too. So we're going to go back into VueScan, and on input we're going to make sure that source is set to file. And when we come in here, we're going to look for the file that we need. I think it's this one, raw scan for South Congress, and mode is going to be, media is going to be color negative. Make sure the bits per pixel are 48-bit RGB. Scan resolution is set to full. And let's preview that. And we're going to get a good image, and immediately you'll see that it's already color correcting. You need to make sure that you set your crop to the area that you want corrected. If you select anything outside of this, it's going to screw up your white balance. So let's select the image. That looks pretty good. And we're going to go into color. We're going to make sure that our film stock is selected properly. Mine is a Fuji C200. There's no C200, so I'm going to go with a Super G200, which gives me colors that I'm happy with. If you can't find your film stock, try to look for something similar. But if there's nothing similar, just go ahead and use generic, and it'll still give you an image that is not too bad, and you can fiddle with the brightness of each color, or you can fiddle with them in manual mode, and you can sort of fix things up a bit to make sure that they look how they're supposed to. Like, for example, let's say I do it like maybe a little less red. Well, that could look okay, just using a generic. But since I already have the Fuji, I'm going to go ahead and select it and make sure it's correctly placed. And we're going to set this to white balance. And it's going to give me an image that is pretty close to what I want. Maybe auto levels might do better. Maybe white balance. And I'm going to lower the brightness until it's at a point where I'm happy. Maybe about there. That looks good. And I'm pretty much done here. All I have to do is set the output color space to Adobe RGB. You can still use sRGB, but I find that Adobe RGB translates better into Lightroom. It gives me better color control. It's very minor, so you know your results may vary. On output, I am exporting again as a TIFF with a TIFF DNG format at 48-bit RGB. I already have that set up in a folder. And I am going to also export a JPEG so I can show you that this will give you a usable image almost immediately, and you probably don't even have to go into Lightroom. So let's go ahead and select this. Let's save it into the correct folder, processed, right? And then let's press save. Save, save. All right. That's good. Now, I'm going to go back into Lightroom. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. Let me synchronize this folder. And you're going to see that I have here, this is the JPEG that it exported, which looks great in its own regard. And this is the TIFF DNG. The TIFF DNG, I think it has something to do with the gamma. It's going to be a lot brighter than it should. So just bring it down by a stop and maybe lower the contrast by about maybe 50. And you'll get something that's damn close to what it's supposed to look like. Contrast is a little bit higher, but I think it looks good. And that's that. With this DNG, you have enough information that you can totally fiddle with the white balance if you still have to do that. You can do your highlights and your shadows. And you still have plenty of information to work with. And your image will not start to look posterized or anything. You'll still have plenty of information to keep editing your picture. And you have a great point to start from. Again, guys, I'm not an expert. I just wanted to share this with you guys because it has been a lot easier for me to get good results using just VueScan, and I wanted to share that with you. What's really cool about this process is that it doesn't matter where your DNG is coming from. As long as you have a good, high quality, high bitrate file, you can do this using VueScan. You don't actually need a scanner. You just have to bring in the files into VueScan. So if you're using your DSLR to create these images, then you can just bring them in and it'll work just fine. I hope that this helps you guys, and as always, please give me your feedback. I'm excited to learn more about this.